guys, welcome back to the channel, Nate's Pink Bookshelf. My name is Nate Denise for those of you who are new to the channel or who just happen to stumble across this video. And as the title says below, this is going to be my January 2020 TBR. I am recording this first portion a little bit early because I'm going to be using a special guest for this video. But my TBRs are going to be a little bit different this year because I am going with TBR Jars. I have used TBR Jars before, and I pretty much can stick to whatever books I say I'm going to read for the month. I'm pretty much a mood reader, but because I have a lot of books to review for different companies and different genres, I pretty much can go through all the books on my list. So, for this, I am taking inspiration from Princess from the Castle Library. I kind of liked how she did her TBR Jars separately, where she had her series continuations, her series starters, standalones, and then she had her fairy loot books. But I don't do fairy loot, I do book of the month. So I'm kind of sort of going with that kind of idea. I do have 4 jars right now. There may be a 5th down the line. I'm not sure if I'm still going to do that or not. But I do have a special guest who's going to help me. I'll introduce you to them in a second. But the first jar is going to be this one. And this is going to be my series starter jar. So for this one, I'm going to pull out only one book for this. The next one is going to be this one, and it's going to be my series continuation. So any book that I need to finish in a series. I'm also going to pick maybe 2 out of this jar. Then we have book of the month. I have 38 total. I've only read 3. I'm slacking. We need to get on it. So I'm going to pick 2 out of here. And then I have this cup here, which I got from my cousin's 50th birthday party, which is really nice. But I have some standalones. Not all of my standalones, but some of the ones that I really want to read in here. So we're going to pick 1 or 2 out of there. So I'm going to introduce my son to you guys. Come on. This is my baby boy. What's your name? Chris. And I talked about him when I first made my booktube channel because I was pregnant with my son. But he is now 5 years old. But he's going to help me pick out some books. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, we're starting off with, I believe this is my series starter. And I'm only going to pick 1 book out of here. So, let's shake it. You want to shake it? Go ahead, shake it. Alright. And we're going to pick 1 book. So, go in there and just get 1 paper. You got 1? Okay, so he picked out 1 and it's a green paper. The colors have no type of meaning whatsoever. So we're going to stick it in there. Alright. Series continuations. Pick 2 books out here, okay? Want to shake it up? Be careful. Oh, sorry. You got to be careful. Got it? Mm-hmm. You got to hold it this way. Put your hand on the bottom. Shake. Alrighty. Now, pick out 2. Alright, you got 2? Let me see. Let me show the people. A red and a beige. And I'm going to open them up and show you guys the books at the end. This one is going to be book of the month. So shake it up and pick out 2 books for me. Got it? Alright. Pick 2 out. Thank you. So he picked out a pink and a blue. And the last one is going to be my standalones. How many do you want to get? 1 or 2? Okay, pick out 1 for me. And he picked out a brown. So we're going to run through those books in a second. But yes, my son, I love you. You want to say bye to the people? Go ahead, say bye. Bye. And I'll be right back to run through all the books with you guys. Okay, guys, so I'm back. I went to go situate my son so he could eat dinner. But let's dive in. So I'm going to start off with the standalone. He picked a brown paper. And let's see which book he picked for me. And hopefully it's not a long one. I do have to add Mr. Strange or something. Whatever that long book is. It's a book. The title is on the screen. I need to add that into here if I didn't already. But okay, so he picked Conversion. I know what book this is. So we have that. Book of the month books. He picked a blue and a pink. So let's take this out. Alright, and the first one for book of the month is With the Fire on High. Okay, that's the first one. And let me close that. The next one is, I like that one. Okay. All right. I can do with the fire on high. Opposite of always. Okay. So we have that. Moving on to, I believe this is series continuation jar. We have a red and a beige. Okay, red and beige. Let's see. The first one is going to be P.S. I Still Love You. I don't know what's up with all these YA contemporaries and my dang TBR. I mean, I guess, right? And then, is this a fantasy? Please be a fantasy. Alright, this one is The Queen of Nothing. Yes! And I actually did just get my book, so I'm super excited that one picked out. And then lastly, we're going to go on with series starters, and he picked this green. Pick the green. And the book for that is Dreamer's Pool. Okay, I've been wanting to read this for a long time. Okay, so I know what that is. So I'm going to grab all of these books and show you guys those books, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I'm back with all of the books here. But, okay, so the standalone my son picked out is Conversion by Katherine Howe. But I know that this is more of a spooky time read, so I'm actually going to put Conversion back in the jar and save it for Halloween, only because I know I really want to read this during the Halloween time. So I'm going to put this one back. So I'm just folding it back up, and I'm going to staple it like that and throw it back in my jar. I did, however, pick out a white one. Again, I could read this now, but I really do want to save it for Halloween month. October, because it's spooky, and I know that it deals with what is it, senior year at St. John's Academy. There is something that goes wrong. That's all I remember. It's a chilling mystery, and I believe it has some sort of thriller horror aspect. So I'm just gonna save this. I'm putting this one to the side, and I'm going to open this one up and grab that book. So hopefully this is a good book right now, because I have a lot of YA on my list. Please be an adult or a new adult or something. So, alright. Showing you guys first. Okay, you see it? It ends with Us. That is on my top shelf, so I'm going to grab that real quick and come back. So, I'm back with all the books here, ready to roll. So, let's just dive in. I'm going to read the synopsis to you guys, and we're going to carry on. So as I said, my standalone that I picked out is called It Ends With Us, and that is going to be by Miss Colleen Hoover. I think I've maybe read one or two of her books. Yeah, I own a lot of her ebooks, but this is a physical one that I have. And yeah, all I know is that this is contemporary romance with some type of problem. So we're going to read the back because I don't know everything about it. I did find this at my local library's book sale, and I was super stoked to have found it. It looks like it's in pristine condition, no type of rips or tears or anything. And I love the florals because they're sort of raised on the cover. But we're going to read the back of this book. So, on the back it says, sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. So when she feels a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Riley Kincaid, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Riley is assertive, stubborn, maybe even a little arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily, but Riley's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Atlas Corrigan. I think that's how you say it, Corrigan. Her first love and a link to the past she left behind. He was her kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Riley is threatened. With this bold and deeply personal novel, Colleen Hoover delivers a heart-wrenching story that breaks exciting new ground for her as a writer. It Ends With Us is an unforgettable tale of love that comes at the ultimate price. So that sounds like it's going to be epic. It'd be great to use this to break up my other books because I have a lot of YA. So I'm super excited. I'm hoping there's some angst. I'm hoping there's some cute little kissy romance scenes. Probably not going to be on the extreme with the sex, which I'm totally fine with. But I predict this is probably going to get me a 3.5 4-star. Contemporary romances is not something that I normally enjoy, but I still like reading it. It always gets me around the 3.5 kind of range, so I'm predicting a 3.5 4-star for this book. So following that, we have my 2 book of the month picks, because I have way too many book of the month books. If you guys haven't seen my latest book of the month December unboxing or my book of the month YA December unboxing, go check it out by clicking the I on the screen. But I have a total of 38 book of the month books, just from this year alone, from 2019. Okay, from 2019 alone, 38 books. Of those 38, I've only read 3, and of those 3 that I read, I only really fully enjoyed 1. So I threw all of the books, including the ones that I read, inside of there, and my son picked out 2. My goal is to read 2 a month. If I could even dish out 3, that's awesome, but I'm going with 2. The first one he picked out is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, and here it is. I love this cover. It's gorgeous, and I love the illustration, and yes, just food deliciousness. All I know is this is YA contemporary fiction. It deals with a young girl named Imani, and she loves cooking. Cooking is her life, and she kind of uses it to help her get a better life. She wants to be a chef, I think it is, or a cook. You know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read the synopsis, because I'm going to do a horrible job explaining it to you guys. So we're going to read it. So it says, ever since she got pregnant freshman year, Imani Santiago's life has been about making the tough decisions, doing what has to be done for her daughter and her abuela. The one place she can let all that go is in the kitchen. There she lets her hands tell her what to cook, listening to her intuition and adding a little something magical every time, turning her food into straight up goodness. Even though she's always dreamed of working in the kitchen, after she graduates, Imani knows that it's not worth her time to pursue the impossible. Yet despite the rules she's made for her life and everyone else's rules, which she refuses to play by, once Imani starts cooking, her only choice is to let her talent break free. From the author of National Book Award winner The Poet X comes a dazzling story of a girl with talent, pride, and a drive to create that keeps her fire burning bright. So yeah, I know that this is Latinx representation, so I'm super excited to dive into this and just get all the delicious recipes out of this book. So we have this as my other book. So the next book my son picked out is Opposite of Always, as you can see. So it's by Justin A. Reynolds, and this is it. Gorgeous illustration on the cover, but I've heard mixed things about this just because it's like a mixed genre. So it's definitely contemporary with a little bit of romance, and it's also a little bit of sci-fi because there's time travel involved. I'm going to read the synopsis because I don't want to screw it up for you guys at all. But it says, Jack Ellison King, king of almost. He almost made valedictorian. He almost made varsity. He almost got the girl. Until... When Jack and Kate meet at a party, bonding until sunrise over their mutual love of Fruit Loops and their favorite flicks, Jack knows he's falling hard. Soon, she's meeting his best friends, Jillian and Franny, and Kate wins them over as easily as she did Jack. Jack's curse of almost is finally over. But this love story is complicated. It is an almost happily ever after, because Kate dies. And their story should end there. Yet Kate's death sends Jack back to the beginning, the moment they first met, and Kate's there again. Beautiful, radiant Kate. Healthy, happy, and charming as ever. Jack isn't sure if he's losing his mind. Still, if he has a chance to prevent Kate's death, he'll take it. Even if that means believing in time travel. However, Jack will learn that his actions are not without consequences, and when one choice turns deadly for someone else close to him, he has to figure out what he's willing to do and let go to save the people he loves. From debut author Justin A. Reynolds comes a razor-sharp, hilarious, and heartfelt novel about the choices we make, the people we choose, and the moments that make a life worth reliving. So, I'm excited to dive into this. It sounds like it's going to make me cry. I'm not ready for it, but, I mean, January, why not? So let's jump into the next book. The next jar was my series continuation. The first one he picked was P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. And I don't own a physical copy of that, but I do have it on my e-reader. So here is the cover for you guys. We'll be reading this on my Nook. But I'll just pop the cover up right here for you guys as I talk about it. But this is the second book to All the Boys I've Loved Before, and basically what I remember is that there's a girl named Laura Jean, and when she liked a boy or had a crush on a boy, she would write a love letter. One day when those love letters just go missing, and there is a reason why they go missing, which if you've seen the Netflix movie, then you'll know why. If you read the book, you know why. But the letters go missing, and they are all sent out to the boys that she's loved before, and romance ensues. There is a love triangle between two guys. You have her sort of male best friend boy next door named Josh, and then you have Peter. I love Peter so much. I swoon. I didn't really enjoy the first book. I did give it a 3.5 star rating though. Like I said, contemporaries don't really do it for me. However, I adored the movie. The movie was great. And I know that there's a sequel movie coming out, so I definitely do want to finish up with that, following up. I think this one has to do with preparing for college or something along those lines. I don't really know. I'm not going to read the synopsis because this is a sequel, obviously, but we have that. The next book he picked as a series continuation is one that I was so excited for because I just got this book, if you guys saw my November book haul, and I can't wait. I really wanted to just read the whole series over, but we just going to dive right in and then reread next year, further down in the year. But that's going to be The Queen of Nothing, book 3 in the series, and Holly Black. This is book 3 and the final book in the Heir of the Folk trilogy by Holly Black, all about Jude and Carden, and I'm so ready for this. This is YA fantasy, a lot of angst, some romance. I've heard that things get real steamy between Jude and Carden. I heard that there's somebody in this series that I can't stand that dies. I heard that somebody ends up pregnant. I heard a lot of stuff. I try to not watch spoilers, but then again, I don't really care for spoilers. Like, I don't care. They don't bother me. So, like, I'm excited. I really wanted to binge read, like I said, the first 2 books over because they are on my shelf right there. But we're just going to go dive headfirst into this, and I can't wait. I am predicting this will be a 5 stars, like 4.5, 5 stars. A lot of people are not happy with how it ended. I'm not too hung up on, you know, how it's going to end as long as it closes out nicely and Jude and Carden get together and have a happily ever after. I don't care about nothing else. So, yeah. Following that, he picked one book out of my series starters, and he went with Dreamer's Pool, which is one that I've actually been eyeing for a minute, and it's by Juliet Marillier. This is a part of the Blackthorn and Grimm trilogy. I own the first 2 books. I don't have the 3rd one yet, but I want to get my hands on it, and I don't know much about it. I just knew that these covers were gorgeous, and they sounded dope, and I really do want to get into Juliet Marillier's writing. I do have a lot of her ebooks, but this is the only physical version. I actually have another one of her books, The Heir to Seven Waters, which is a part of the Seven Waters series, but I think that's book 4, which I can't start there. But this is book 1 in her Blackthorn and Grimm trilogy. Don't know what it's about, so we're gonna read the back of it because I don't really remember. I just know that it's adult fantasy. And it says, in order to escape death, embittered healer Blackthorn promises to forego vengeance against the man who destroyed her life and to assist anyone who asks for her help. Accompanied by a former prison mate, a silent hawk of a man named Grimm, she finds a home in Del Radia, I think that's how you say that word, on the fringe of a mysterious forest. Oran, the prince of Del Radia, is in desperate need of such help. He believed his future bride, Lady Fledius, I think that's how you say that name, was his destined true love, but the bride who arrives in Del Radia is nothing like the sensitive woman who won his heart with sweetly poetic correspondences. To save Orion from his disastrous nuptials, Blackthorn and Grimm will need courage, ingenuity, and more than a little magic. So on the back, there are some blurbs that say it's an enchanting tale grounded by Marillier's compelling protagonists, who rise above adversity to become a formidable team. It's fabulous, rich tale that resonates of deepest myths, and a tall, deep draft of mythical Irish brew, which I'm here for. So I'm excited to dive into this. This has been on my TBR for a long time, since before I purchased it. So I'm actually super excited. The last book I'm going to throw into this kind of TBR jar video is going to be Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I read this book already. I think I gave it like a 3.5, 4-star rating. I can't really remember. It'll be on the screen what I gave it. I don't remember. But I want to make an active kind of, what's the word? I want to be active or intentional rather in reading the Harry Potter series for 2020. So I want to reread this. I want to annotate it a little differently because I did annotate before, but I wasn't heavy on like annotating. Honestly, I really didn't care. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't care. I've seen all the Harry Potter movies. I love them all, but I've never read the books until this year, and I didn't really care for this. So I'm going to restart over in my reading for 2020. In January 2020, I am going to read this book because I do have the sequel in my actual series continuation jar. So we're going to pick this up and add this in. Okay, so that's a total of 7 books, 8 if you include Harry Potter, that I have picked out of the TBR jar, not including all the other books that I have to read for the month of January. So I will have a overall January TBR video coming that will include the other books that I have to read for January, but these are going to be my January TBR picks. And how I'm going to do this is, if I don't get to a book, it's just going to be folded up and thrown right back into the jar to pick again. If I finish it, then I can toss it out. Now, with the series continuations, obviously not for Queen of Nothing because this is the last book in the series, but for Dreamer's Pool, once I finish that, I'm going to get a piece of paper and put the sequel on a piece of paper and stick it into my series continuation. When I'm done with P.S. I Still Love You, I'm going to then go and write the 3rd book on a piece of paper and stick that into series continuation. That's how it's going to work. I want to be intentional about reading the books on my shelf. I have a lot of books on my shelf, not including ebooks. I have well over 8,000 ebooks, and this is just books that I have for my Nook, not including Kindle, not including Google Play, not including Kobo, not including iBooks. We're not including those. We're just talking about straight up ebooks that I have on my computer downloaded. I have well over 8,000, you guys. About 8,000 to 10,000. I honestly haven't checked the last time because I've been deleting and adding and deleting and adding. So I'm going to say anywhere from 8,000 to 10,000 ebooks are on my computer. If we're including Amazon Kindle books, if we're including Google Play books, if we're including Kobo books, if we're including Barnes & Noble Nook books, I have well over 20, most likely. That's bad. So, I want to be intentional about reading physical books on my shelf because I have a lot of great physical books. They just sit around and never get read. So we have those. I'm excited for these picks, and I'm excited to see how it goes. I will have my January wrap up during the first week of February, so we'll see what books I read, what books I didn't read, what my thoughts were. And yeah, I will be doing some unhauls as well for 2020 because I want to keep books that I really, really enjoy. So books that are 4 stars and up. I would say 5 stars only, but there are some books that I really enjoy that just aren't 5-star worthy, but they're still great reads. So I want to keep all the books on my shelf only to 4 or 5-star ratings. Depending on the contemporary, if it's like a 3.5, 3.75, we'll see. But yeah, that is it for this video. I don't want to ramble on too long. This video is probably all over the place, and I apologize. It is December 17th as I'm recording this video, so we still obviously have a few more weeks of December left, but I wanted to do this portion of the video with my son now, and then we'll have part 2 of my TBR for towards the end of the month that you'll see. And I think that is it for this video, so I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out. Bye.